Well, welcome to the Battlefield of the Boardroom. A quick 10-minute talk. Today we are with Carolina Hernandez, a Navy veteran and friend through a couple different veteran programs, who runs her own company that you founded, started, right, and manage, called Veteran Culture.
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah, I don't want to say it wrong, but Carolina, thanks for joining us today. Today, we actually kicked off talking a little bit about mentorship, and we can chat about whatever you want, but boy, oh boy, do I think that is a hot topic right now. And the idea of finding role models or like-minded people and surrounding yourself with them. And I think it's something that the military does naturally because it puts you in groups of job skills, job sets, and then you work together. So you're surrounded by people who are all doing kind of what you're doing. But everywhere else, you have to go find that group. And Carolina, you were talking a little bit about how you just found a group and sort of the strength of it. I mean, if you'd share that with other people, because I think there are a lot of people out there who maybe just haven't gotten the message yet. Like, we need coaches.
I think I can speak from my own personal experience, right? For example, being born and raised in Mexico, right? Coming here, and I went to a couple of different events where kind of like Hispanic community events. And I'm like, I don't really feel like there is strong leadership, like I don't feel like we have women who are successful and willing to take somebody else under their wings. I feel like we're kind of missing that, the whole mentorship mindset. That's my opinion based on my own culture and my own experience. Same thing in the fashion industry. When I was in school, my instructors would be like, oh, you need to find a mentor, somebody can guide you and kind of coach you on how this industry works. And I mean, this is a cutthroat industry. Like when I try to, like go under somebody, learn, and good luck with that. Like, it was not easy because some people see you as competition and they don't want you to be kind of like learning or become better than them or do things better than the way they're doing. So I think in a way it's kind of like a closed-minded mindset, because the more you learn, the more you teach, the more you grow. That's just my opinion. But unfortunately, in this industry, I don't think is that the case.
Yeah, that's tricky then. So what advice could you give someone looking for a mentor? Like, you served in the military, you came here from Mexico, you have a passion for fashion. And so as you kind of look at that industry, you're right. People are very guarded. We protect what we think we've earned or gotten or whatever. And it's very hard to share that space, even though in the sharing we grow faster. So how did you find a group? Like, how did you find people that clicked with what you were trying to do?
Well, I just started kind of like going, connecting with entrepreneurs, people in the military, and I just started kind of like going through any program and training that make me a better person. And I'm like, I want to change the mindset in my industry. Like I want to become a mentor, somebody that can teach what I know. That's why I make my YouTube videos and I go live sometimes. And I'm like, I want to share what I know, because what's the point of me gathering all this knowledge if I'm not going to share with anybody else? It kind of defeats the purpose, in my opinion.
Yeah. But was that a switch for you? I mean, have you always been in a place where you were trying to teach and share and work collaboratively, or is that something that came as a realization later?
Well, I think also because when I joined the Navy, I was already on my mid-20s. I was 23 years old. So when I got out and went to school, I was on like mid-20s, and then a lot of the girls were like 18. So I kind of became like the older sister. So I have to be mindful, like, I need to watch how I talk. I can help in the things I know. I can help and mentor them, because I guess it came to me naturally because on the situation that I was, being older than my classmates, I kind of had to be like, okay, like I need to teach them and coach them and mentor them instead of like seeing them as competition. Because I'm like, it's kind of pointless. I'm like, I need to be the role model for them, because that's how they look up to me.
Yeah, so you feel like you actually got drawn into that role and just by
Yes.
by status of your age. But so, when you look for a mentor, is that what you're looking for? Just someone who is older, or is there something that really helped? Do they have to be in the fashion industry? Do they have to be older? Do they have to be female? Do they have to be like, who can be a mentor for you?
I actually have a couple of ones. I have an Army veteran. He's really good with marketing. So when I have marketing questions, he's the one I go to. And he's kind of like about my age. I have all kinds of mentors. Like, I have a teacher, fashion design, same thing. Like when I'm stuck with like, hey, how do I sew this? I'm like, what about the stitching and whatever? Fashion related, she's my go-to person. So it doesn't have to be female. It doesn't have to be my age. It's just whoever I feel like they have the knowledge. That's what I mean. I describe myself like a sponge, like anything I can learn from anybody, like I'm more than happy to learn it. Even if he's somebody super younger than me, I'm like, hey, if you can teach me something new, I'm more than happy to learn it.
Yeah, I think we get caught up on that. Like we maybe elevate mentors to this, Mr. Miyagi and the Karate Kid status, and it doesn't have to be that. Like, what happened to the idea that you can learn something faster if you watch someone emulate that behavior or that virtue or that attitude, and then in watching them, you get to jump to level 2. Like you don't have to spend time, So like you said with sewing, if I wanted to know how to make an outfit. I would rather watch you do it, and then you tell me like, hey, watch me sew, and then I could save myself hours of frustration of poking myself with a needle or something. So that's good. And you said something else too, like the amount of mentors. Like, you think there's a limit?
No, I think, I mean, there is some. I have some. I mean, not that many. I don't have that many, but I'm always eager to find new ones, and it kind of happens naturally. You meet someone and they're good at what they're doing, and you're like, well, I need to learn from this person.
I mean, learning from them means learning that trait, right? Like, I think that's a big difference between adolescence and adulthood, right? As a kid, our mentors are superheroes because they can do everything and they never lose.
Yeah.
And that makes great cartoons growing up because you see that there's the possibility out there. I think when you become an adult, you recognize there's a whole lot of shades of gray, and then everybody has a thing they're good at and a thing that they're not good at. And your job is to pick the things they're good at and work to emulate that, and not get yourself in a position where you're stuck, not able to emulate the things you need because they also have something that they're not good at. It is great talking to you. I think that your company is taking off great. I appreciate those of you who don't know. Carolina has volunteered to work. We have an after-school program we do with some inner city kids called Youth Champions, and Carolina is going to come out and talk to the kids for our monthly go and see, and really kind of tell the story. Because I'll tell you one thing: you talk about mentorship. Here's the other half of it. Especially when you're young, but really for your whole life. It is terrifying not knowing. And so high school kids, the group we work with, or college kids that we talk to sometimes, not knowing how their life is going to turn out, which would be impossible, is terrifying. It's debilitating. Entrepreneurs, not knowing if your company is going to make it, is terrifying. It's why most entrepreneurs start one company, not multiples, because living through the uncertainty of whether it's going to be successful or not is really hard. And you're going to help us by being a role model to these kids to show them that there is a path. Yours might be different from theirs, but there's a path. So one, thank you for doing that. And two, like, any plugs, any last minute thoughts? I mean, I love the idea of finding multiple mentors and letting it happen organically, but to do that, you kind of have to be reaching out and looking for people who do something you like.
I think the key is to be willing to learn. Because I think, it happens to a lot of us. Like, we think we know it, we think we figure it out. And then you meet someone who knows something you don't know. You're like, I really need to learn this. But it's not until you're willing to learn and listen is when you actually get to kind of like absorb the information,
Yeah. Well, it's one of the leadership traits they don't teach in the military. If you look at the 14 traits, it's missing humility. And I think to learn requires humility. You've got to be able to step back and I am humbled that you would take the time both to work with our kid group and to spend time today on this talk. That is your battlefield to the boardroom, coming at you from the Navy today. And thank you, Carolina. Thanks for putting us on. Check out her website. I have been there a couple times. Lots of colors, lots of movement in the dresses. I don't know how to describe the fashion except to say, clearly you're putting a lot of thought and passion into what you're doing, and some of your shows look fascinating. So congratulations.
Thank you. I look forward to meeting those future generations.
We have to keep doing that. If you're not finding a mentor, you should be one.